Good morning. Welcome back to the Vitality Project. I'm Dr. Bob. Yesterday, I shared with you what a client in one of my recent treatment center groups shared with all of the participants in that group. He talked about a spiritual awakening. And in his own words, he described being freed from old, very familiar patterns that had been with him across his entire life of just reacting emotionally and automatically to other people's judgments and to their opinions. Now, I'm sure that spiritual experience for any one of us that are listening and reflecting today, it might manifest differently because we're all different individuals. It makes sense. And each one of us has our own specific story and our own specific unfolding. But there does arise a question that might be a universal one, and that is this. What might I do? What might you do to increase the probability of having this kind of spiritual awakening, no matter what actual form it might take? What can I do? I very much like what the 13th century Persian poet Rumi has to say here. He says, one gives birth to oneself slowly. What 9 months of attention do for an embryo, 40 early mornings will do for your gradually growing wholeness. Now, what is Rumi getting at here? Well, I suppose that most of us can just automatically summon some kind of spiritual awakening or spiritual experience at will. I don't think that's what he's saying, but I think what he is saying is that we can cultivate an awareness inside our beings, inside our hearts, which makes it more likely that we'll be touched by the kind of graced awareness that the gentleman that I mentioned to you, that he clearly experienced. We can cultivate the field and make it fertile, make it open to a spiritual experience. So let me ask you a question. What practices do you engage in on a daily basis to help you counter the brain's built-in negativity bias? Right, you heard me right. Our brains are programmed by nature to remain in protection mode 24/7. Biologists call this the default mode network in our brains, and it's there for good reason. It protects us from danger. The problem with that built-in negativity in the default mode network is that it is associated with worry, and worry is connected to increased levels of stress. What then can I do, or you too, to help reduce our vulnerability to stress, hence addictive sources of relief, because stress is the #1 trigger for addictive behaviors? Well, one thing's for sure, are practicing some form of daily mindfulness, as with Rumi's poem that I shared with you earlier, and with the young man's experience that I shared with you yesterday, where he simply observed rather than reacted to emotions as they arose. Our daily practicing that might just provide a very useful and important, maybe a vital buffer against negativity, against stress, and hence against addictive behaviors. Now, I wonder, do I have your attention? I hope so. Come back these next few posts as I share with you the process of mindfulness, something that you can practice on your own so that you can build up some of these muscles we're talking about. Thanks for joining me today here at the Vitality Project. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I'll see you tomorrow morning.